Hey everyone, Devin here, aka the Iron Father. If you've been following my journey to rebuild and rediscover, then you already know that I'm always scouting places to recalibrate. Let's talk about one of them. Let's look at Lake Havasu in Arizona. Now, Lake Havasu is not just for boats or bikinis, although you'll find plenty of both out there, but for black men over 50 looking for peace, adventure, and maybe even romance. Is it worth the trip? Well, let me kind of give it to you the real way, and not just for black men. I think this goes really for all you Iron Fathers out there. Now, when we look at the city, it's been built from scratch in the 60s by Robert McCullough. Now, some of you Iron Fathers may recognize that because Robert McCullough, but that dude made boat engines and decided to create a lakeside city right in the middle of the desert. He even bought the real London Bridge there. Yeah, you know that London Bridge. The one that London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. I'll probably get a copyright if I played the actual song, but I know all you Gen X dads out there, you all know that song. Population, 58,000, but with just a black population of less than 1%, or about 300 people. Now, you may be wondering, then is that someplace I really want to visit? As they say, but wait, there's more. But really, overall, when it comes to crime, taking your family there is very safe, lower than the national average. And the median income, if you're even thinking about relocating there, is about $66,000. A lot of retirees in Lake Havasu. And the median home values come in at about $416,000. Now, what can you do there? Well, you can certainly go fish, you can hike, jet ski, just chill on the beach is what's my favorite thing to do. And some of the big things there, obviously, London Bridge, as I've mentioned, the Island Trail and Mojave Sunset Trail. Off-roading is nearby because once you get outside the city, you're just in this beautiful mountainscape. And then, of course, you have many breweries and actually some waterfront dining. And again, you have to kind of, it hits you like, I'm in Arizona. Yeah, with all this water. But you may be wondering, well, what if I go solo, or what if I'm not like you? I'm an Iron Father that is still with my family and I want to take them on a trip. All right, here's the thing for you. If you're rolling solo, it's quiet enough for peace and you won't feel out of place. It's great for deep thinking, for journaling, just decompressing. Now, if it's a family trip, you're taking your family, your kids, I've done the same. It's safe, it's clean. Your kids will love the state park and the beaches, and you all can just relax there and you can enjoy your wife and you can just sit back, let the kids play in the water, go kayaking, take a ferry. It's really good for that as well. It may just depend on when you go because you can kind of get the spring, we'll say that spring break vibe, like some good old MTV days in the 90s, you do get that feeling sometimes in Lake Havasu. So as long as there's nothing really popping off around then, you can pretty much have a lot of peace and quiet. However, if there are some parties going on, that's when it can get pretty noisy. You'll hear a lot of boat motors there, which may or may not be your thing while you're trying to relax on the beach, or you may even hear just music blaring from all over the place. So those are kind of really the things that you may have to be concerned about when you go, depending on whether you want to go there to relax or whether you want to go there to party. Now, let's say you're in between that. Let's say you want to take a lady friend, and I'm going to give you this advice. You have two types of women that you may take or want to take to Lake Havasu. If you want to take your main woman, then it is absolutely a great place to go. You got the sunset cruising. You can have dinner by the water. You can do a couples hike. It's just a really good vibe. Just don't forget the sunscreen. That's the main thing if y'all go out there hiking in the middle of the sun. However, if you have a lady that, well, let's just say you don't know if you're feeling her like that. Let's just say you don't really know if you're into her. Then this really is not the spot that you want to go to. Maybe if you want to go a little bit up north to Bullhead City, or if you want to take the ferry over to this little small casino on the California side, then that might be more your vibe. But there's not a ton to do to distract you from the person that you're with. And if any of you guys have, let's be honest, you probably did this when you were married. You might have taken a trip with your love honey, and when it was just you two, you kind of maybe got on each other's nerves, might have checked out, wasn't nothing to do but talk. And when you talked about the kids or you argued. Well, that's kind of what falls with Lake Havasu. There aren't a ton of activities that you can do to take your mind off of the person that you're with. And I'm just keeping it real. That's what I do here. But if you want to focus on the person that you're with, this is a good spot to take your girlfriend or your wife. But don't take a woman that you're not really feeling that much, because you will be having a lot of conversation and you're going to want to get away. But really, there isn't a whole lot to do outside of her that you're going to be able to get away to do. But okay, and when it comes to places to stay, you still have options. You can get the budget spots depending on the time of year that you go in the $60 range. Some resorts, some pools, some lake views, that may hit you in the $150 range. Now, I do have some spots that I personally like to go to, but I have to say something. I mean, look, that's for my subscribers to get the exclusive Iron Father travel tips. That's what you get. That's one of the things you get when you sign up with Iron Father. So let that be a reason to do so. Now, getting there. On the way there, if you're going from Phoenix, it's about 3.5 hours. If you take your time, if you want to stop in Wickenburg or hit Parker on the way, both are some nice little solid detours. You can get some gas, stretch out a little bit, use the restroom. That's no problem. About the only difficult part about getting to Lake Havasu, which as you get closer, it's more and more beautiful. But on the way there, once you get off the 10, then you are on these 2-lane highways where if you're behind a bunch of trucks that are taking that route, or just the slow drivers that want to go, well, we'll just say below the speed limit, passing can be kind of tricky. So definitely be careful. Now, when I'm also there, I go out depending on what you're driving. If you want to take your sports car, it's definitely not bad, but there may be some spots you don't want to go to because it's really better to have something with a little bit of a lift. You may want to move off the paved road and go on a little bit of gravel. So having your drop top convertible, me traveling the Stang, it just kind of keeps me more along the typical beaten path. And if I'm driving something like the Mustang, there was a nice Cars and Coffee that I attended in Lake Havasu. That was the perfect time to have that. On the other side, times that I've gone in the old family truckster, in my SUV or pickup truck, well, then in those cases, you can actually go a little bit off of the typical roads and go a little off-roading. And in the case when I went with the pickup truck, we pulled our bikes out. We went bike riding because there is a nice little bike path that's right there along the main street in Lake Havasu. Or you can just go on the main island itself and you can ride around there where they're building a lot of homes there. You could go ahead and go into some locations that you wouldn't normally be able to go to with a regular passenger car. You can get closer to the water, relax on the beach in a little more of a secluded area. And again, if you're there with your girl or with your wife and you're looking for that little romantic getaway, yeah, that's definitely the way to go right there. Now, the thing that's important really to all black folks, which is how comfortable will I feel in Lake Havasu? I'm going to say it probably depends on when you go. If you go when it's that time of year where you may have a lot of people doing their parties in their boats, a lot of drinking going on, well, then you kind of may feel like a little bit in that flying buttermilk, as my dad used to say. That's when it gets a little tricky and no one wants to be called out of their name because folks are drinking and considering themselves at least to have a good time. But I can't say anything ever happened. I've been there a lot. And I still make it my business to be at Lake Havasu at least once a year. So I've never run into any problems. But I do just want to let you know that. And, everybody is doing their thing. Then you just never know what you may come across. Because quite honestly, Lake Havasu is probably one of the few spots that I've come across in Arizona where, it reminds me of what I've had in the Midwest or when you travel to the South. You do not see many Latinos. You do not see very many black folks. It's just majority white. But again, that being said, I never had any problem. And as a matter of fact, I was even surprised once where there was a white woman that we met and she actually asked for some help just with her car because she couldn't get it in gear. And then she ended up going hiking with us. And, I'm thinking, this white woman going out here hiking in these mountains, brother better make sure he have a witness because I don't know what she might try to blame on me. But you know what? Hey, it's one of those things where, wow, it's cool to meet very nice people like that. But again, I think it's just something you should be aware of, especially if you're taking your family. On the other side, when you go and it's not really kind of a party town or spring break town, it is very peaceful. So as a black person going there, I've never felt uncomfortable, never had any incidences take place, felt comfortable at the Cars and Coffee. Again, it's just a lot of retirees, people chilling, and even over by London Bridge. Walking around there at night in the dark when the bridge is lit up, nice little romantic thing going on, nice little romantic vibe. I felt fine, never felt like I was in danger. And, again, you know how some folks can get when they got a little alcohol in them. And, last thing anybody ever wants. And I guess if you ever had any kind of run-ins like that in Lake Havasu, let us know down below in the comments. But I always still wonder if the possibility is there. And thankfully, nothing has ever happened. Everybody's been cool. And that's why Lake Havasu is a spot that I still go for my peace when I want to find it somewhere in Arizona. So Lake Havasu isn't flashy. But if you're a brother over 50 looking to recalibrate, restore, and thrive, it's worth checking it out. Peaceful, unexpected. So if this helped you out, hit that subscribe button. I've got more spots around the Southwest coming your way, and just really along with all of my travels as we all begin to recalibrate and recreate ourselves in this journey as an Iron Father. You want my exact hotel picks and maybe even some places that I go to hike at personally? Well, that's for the real G's. Join the email list and I got you.